And there it is, the Press Onion Podcast. We back at it. We got the Fat Boy Show today. It's just me and Big U up in here. What's happening, man?
Chilling, man. Chilling. Enjoying hometown.
Where you been? Tell us about that.
All in the Midwest, man. Illinois, Michigan, Ohio. It's cold up there.
Sure enough, man. I'm happy home for a couple of days. So why not do a podcast with you? Yo, man, we got some interesting conversation today. So we need to talk some more first before we go straight into the loving. What's been going on with you outside of truck driving? You know, like how life been?
Cool, man. Just a sense of pride of taking care of my family. Seeing the little videos and their Snapchats of them just enjoying life, man. Taking horse riding lessons.
I seen that on Instagram. So how did that go?
It was good. Actually, my boys are fearless. So they're getting on the bigger horses, and my daughter, even though she's the oldest, she's getting on the smaller horse because she's so nervous.
So no, my daughter don't like horses.
It was all cool. That's shit I couldn't even imagine growing up. Taking horse riding lessons.
Oh yeah, we gotta expose our kids
right.
to things that we wouldn't expose to.
To me, that's the definition for me of giving my kids what I never had. Not buying them a bunch of shoes and clothes, but them experiences.
Yeah. You know? I do them experiences with Serenity. We do, little dumb stuff at the house.
Right.
And so actually this weekend we're gonna do a funnel cake party. So we got a little sleepover happening. And with her homegirl. And it's gonna be a trial run for Thanksgiving. But I'm gonna do my first funnel cake bar with them this weekend. I actually, before you got here, man, I had just ordered it on Amazon. So I'm ready. I'm actually hyped for that because I want to do funnel cakes.
Right.
I want to find a way to make money off of making funnel cakes. So for real.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something I want to do. Yo, man, also, you've been practicing veganism. What's up with that?
Trying to. It's a struggle.
It's
a struggle. But what I will say is, it's not as, when you put the same effort you put into meat, it's a whole lot better. But when you think about it, if you try eating raw meat without seasoning it or putting some kind of sauce on it, it's disgusting. The same thing is true with vegetables. If you season it the right way, you add sauces to it, it's a different consistency than we used to, but it still tastes good. Like, my old lady, them black bean burgers and them kale and chickpea burgers. Crazy.
I ain't messing with it. Now I will say this, I had a borderline vegan day. One of these days this week, I had brought some Beyond the Meat burgers. And I did have, so that's, plant-based
but you gotta be
burgers.
careful with a lot of them because they have soy in them, and soy causes cancer.
Oh, they probably do, but I ain't really worried about the cancer side.
Right.
I was just trying to be light on the stomach one night, so I made them burgers, and I actually grilled it in the black iron skillet in bacon grease, and I wrapped it in lettuce, and I used some pimento cheese. Well, that took the veganism out as well.
Oh, yeah. Once you put it in bacon grease.
Yeah, so bacon grease and the pimento cheese messed it up. But I will say this. I did that on them burgers, and it was actually good. Like, I didn't miss a beat, on the burgers. And so, I'm just finding ways to eat, but not have heavy meat on me.
And it ain't even a crazy thing. Like, she make, London make spaghetti noodles out of zucchini. So there's no carbs in that. And then you got tomato sauce and sometimes she uses like gardenia or some Beyond Meat or black beans. Or, there's different stuff you can do with it. So it's like you're having a spaghetti or lasagna without.
Oh yeah, I'm all for it. Like, I tried the veganism thing. More not to say I was going to be veganism, but just to, like a detox. I will say, like, if you go a couple of days, like a good 7-10 days, your energy level will increase. And I was listening to, I seen Waka Flocka. This one, everybody realized Waka Flocka was a vegan. And he was like, he said veganism is like a natural Viagra. And he was right. Your blood is like flowing, better.
Just what our bodies heal themselves naturally. So it's just the food that we put in actually slows the process down and giving you energy and healing certain things and all that. So when I get sick, I stop eating, I just drink water. And I actually get better quicker than trying to take some kind of medicine and still trying to put something in my stomach, as old folks say.
Understandable. Well, man, let's get into some current events. This might take the whole show up. What's up, man? So, everybody, the internet was broke yesterday because of Jill Scott and her microphone performance.
Right.
So you got all the skinny women fat shaming the big girls, and you got the big girls gloating a little bit. They taking their 15 minutes of fame.
Then you got women saying that she is degrading herself by doing something like that. But from what I heard, she normally
she's been doing it for years. Right. I don't even know if that clip is a new clip.
Right.
So, but how you feel about the reaction to the Jill Scott? Like, is it something to be...
Women should take note, because I tingled when I watched it. I'll be honest with you. I tingled when I watched it. Just the passion in it.
Yeah.
Women need to take note of that.
Uh-huh.
You get anything from your man if you give him that kind of attention.
Oh, yeah. And, let me see how many... It hit... I got 1, 2, 3. I got 3 group chats in my text message, maybe 5. I ain't counting my family. It didn't go in my family group chat. It went into my main friends group chat, and it went into my guys group chat on Instagram. I got a group chat on Instagram with 2 fellas I've been knowing that we work together. And we've been in a group chat for years, actually, about 5-6 years. But we the only 2 left standing in the group chat. It was actually more people, a couple through the years, but we the only 2 that's actually in a group chat. Right. We broke away from the original group. And we didn't say much. We don't really say much. We just post and make a comment. But it made the group chat. And just seeing other women, looking at the post and just saying hey, if what's her name, was Sheila in the Tyler Perry movie? Yeah, her name was Sheila. And old boy looking at her funny, and it was the girls from the retreat, they was staring off, looking when she came in, yo, that's what you're supposed to do, though. Yeah. You're supposed, you say, passion. Right. A woman got to be passionate in those moments. Because I would say...
And then the technique is just there.
Technique was there.
The combo, the twist, that's all you need. All that deep throw and shit, that's just for a motherfucker's ego. We don't even need the deep throw.
I don't even care for the deep throw.
Yeah, it's just that hand-mouth combo.
I may care for it in certain moments, but not the whole time. If that's all no, I don't want that. I want attention versus you just gobbling. I guess that's the best way to say it. But yeah, I made a couple comments on a few people's pages. It was yo, I've been BBW for life. I'm a lifer. Yo, if you don't got no thighs or booty, we probably can't be serious.
Because of the Jill Scott video?
No. I'm just in general.
Because one thing I do think is kind of off is how they comparing Jill Scott video to be like, oh, see, big girls can suck dick. Like,
yeah.
And I think that's kind of disrespectful in a way.
It is. It's a lot of fat shaming.
Yeah, well, I ain't even talking about the fat shaming part, but I'm like, you know, it's women of all sizes that got skills and they don't got skills. But to be like, that's the reason to get with a big girl because she
can do that.
But
see, that's
disrespectful because they got more than that to offer. But
oh yeah, listen,
it's still people.
Hey, ladies, I'm pro woman. I'm pro BBW.
Me too.
That's what I prefer. I prefer meat on the bones because I got meat on my bones.
Now, what do you say to the women and even the BBWs who say that two big people can't fuck around with each other? There's big girls that be like,
I've been a big dude my whole life, man. So all I'm gonna say is, I promise you,
you gotta be built for it.
The best I'm gonna say is the best way to say it is, I know where the hole at. I can reach the hole with no problems.
Right, yeah.
And I'm gonna just say, also, as my belly has gotten bigger, I know how to suck my belly in. I know how to maneuver legs.
Right.
I know how to reposition you.
Skill, yeah.
So like that ain't no problem. Like it's two big people together. They can't be doing nothing. No, I think personally, most guys. I
feel like for me it works better. Like when I tried dealing with smaller women, it felt awkward. They felt like I was gonna break them, even just like holding the leg.
I would just say this: nothing wrong with the smaller petite ladies, but I'm gonna just say for me, as they say, like when you come into somebody's house, it's like for me in my house we should serve the Lord. For me in my household, we're going to be with BBWs. Alright, forget the bull. Like BBWs for life. And I'm just saying, like, it's not even a sexual thing, it's more like, hey, I like to cuddle. I like to lay my head on some thighs. Or just something period. Like I'm just saying, man, I got a big head. And if you don't got no meat on your bones, you gonna be saying your head, my head hurting you. So, I just keep it simple for me. And BBWs rule the world.
And what's the biggest woman you ever been with?
The biggest? Yeah. Oh man.
For me, I'd say about 350.
350?
Yeah, it's about 350.
Yeah, I most definitely talked to a girl that was 350.
Burger futon.
It all depends. Yeah. I'm gonna get there.
Burger futon.
350, but see, like, to me, I don't know. It all depends what you think. What weight class do a BBW start at?
I don't think that's a clear thing either because it depends on the height. But for me, I would say if a woman is under 5'8", I think it starts at about 180, 200.
Okay, I can agree with that.
Over 5'8", I would say about 230, 240. Because I done seen some chicks that were 5'10", 220 pounds that was
Amazon thick. They still believe the body.
Right. I wouldn't consider it.
Trust, like,
no belly.
So like, man, 5'10" and up, I'm cool with them being slender though. Like a thick slender. Yeah. Not like I don't like put like this.
The weight will still be there.
The weight will still be there, right? So I'm not looking for no bones.
Right.
So with me, a BBW is a chick. She could be 5'10" and probably 220. That's a solid female. Right. So I'm okay with that. But BBW, you go with
that would be what I would.
Everybody say?
I would consider that just thick.
Yeah.
See, the lines have got blurred between thick and fat.
Correct.
Listen,
man, it's some BBWs now. I follow this one girl on Instagram. She light skinned. I think her name Tabor Majors or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's
she could fall under BBW or thick. Cause she got no stomach, but she built like a BBW, but she built like a thick girl.
You know how tall she is.
She probably about 5'11". But she nice.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just different shapes. So just depends on your preference.
Yeah. So I'm glad. A little body, a little stomach, a roll or two, some thigh action, some hips, and some booty.
Yeah.
Like, and my mom will tell you, like, oh, nah, my son ain't gonna like her. She don't got no butt. Like, so I'm definitely a booty man in this world. So
I used to be. I don't like titties.
Oh, you're the booty man? What? Buddy, I like butt. I used to be a titty man when I was younger, though.
I used to be, but now.
Now, I ain't gonna say I don't care for the titties.
Big booties and got me in trouble.
Big booties got you in trouble?
Stay away from big booties now.
So, but now I ain't gonna front. Now it's good to if you get both.
Yeah,
booty and titties.
Of course.
They are rarity. But you can find them.
I don't want to find them.
Oh, hey, good job.
I know my limits.
Well, all right. Well, let's go to your limits.
Or like Deion Cole say, when he talk about good pussy, he said, good pussy change your life. I don't like change like that.
Well,
I'll stay away from all that.
Since you wanted to go with your limits, you didn't know your limit with the futon when it broke. Tell us that story.
I was a youngin', man. I was in the army, and you know, I met this chick online. She came over, big girl, big woman, getting in a little futon I had. I bought from Walmart. That thing just cracked and caved in, so I had my the big duffel bags they gave us with all the equipment in it. I slid that shit up under that little crease and went back to it.
Trifling, man. Yeah, savage, buddy.
That was my first, you know, from Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my first time in the South. And she was real country. The whole time she was just like, fuck is pussy. Fuck is pussy.
Oh my God.
It's real country. I never had no shit like that.
So enough.
And yeah, man. That was
So was that your first BBW experience?
No, I've always been
okay.
big women. But that was just like one where I never had no shit break.
Let me see. Oh yeah, my first BB. Yeah, I always did BB. Now I ain't gonna front. I do like thick, slender girls.
Now, when I first around when I lost my virginity up in Baltimore, I messed with this lady. I only think she might have been like 300 pounds. And she had 50 triple D's or double D's, something.
Oh no, she was too big.
I ain't never seen titties that big in my life, probably. Never. Like, her titties were so big, you couldn't see a nipple. They had to lift the titty up just to get to the nipple.
Oh, no.
But, you know, when you young, you trying to stick your thing in anything, and I was just,
listen,
I was just happy.
I have my limits, but I would say this, I'm all about seeing the shape. If you're a big girl and you have shape, like I can see your torso from your waist to your hips and your butt, you'll go. I'm all about seeing the shape. So I'm not into a slouchy big girl. I'm into seeing shapes.
But as far as being attracted on some real shit, for me it's always been just a vibe. Cause if I look back through all the women I done dealt with, they all different. Some got titties, no booty. Some got booty, no titties. Some ain't got neither, cause there's some big girls that ain't got neither.
Oh yeah.
You know, but it was just, the vibe was cool, everything was cool, and I rock with that. Because a lot of times, you know, the chicks that are physically there, mentally ain't there, or the attitude is fucked up. And,
I'm gonna say it, buddy. I have all the females I've had sex with or been around. All of them didn't have a booty. So as booty is important, but it's not the deal breaker. I'm just saying
I think we need to switch subjects before you get me in trouble.
Man, listen, man. Tell your old lady you is on the press on your podcast, and you just reminiscing.
Yeah, it's just reminiscing
for dialogue. So, but yeah, it ain't about I'm not all just a sucker for the butt. But most females, you have to have a vibe. I'm big on vibes with females, and some you get a good vibe, and then some it could be a bad vibe. It's just your decision. But I think it's also the level of maturity you at that time. Yeah. So yes, it was. Could have been
young, you don't really need too much of a vibe. They just gotta have.
Right. Just hey, what's up? And you can talk them all. You can talk them all.
Then you start maturing. It's like if she say something stupid, you like. I remember one time I went on a date. This was around the time I first got to Huntsville. And I took this chick on a date, and she was just. Her flirting was ridiculous. It was just off. She was immature. And when I took her home, I didn't even park. I just pulled in the parking lot. I ain't even put the car in park, bro. I just, all right, man. I hollered at you and she was trying to give me something. I'm like, I'm cool.
Oh.
I'm cool. So
I ain't gonna front.
I didn't make my dick soft.
Man, well, I'm gonna just say, thank God that he let some of them pass me by. Cause when you when you reminisce and think of some of the females you've dealt with, and you be like, you know what, man, I'm glad I didn't get caught up with that situation. All right, it was what it was then, because the current it ain't there for the person, and now I got caught with my daughter, so that was more like, hey, that was more like a warning, you better slow your butt down. Yeah. So teach his own on that. Last time for Jill Scott, what you rate it? 1 through 10 on the scale level. 10.
You got everything there, even shit that I haven't even thought about.
Show enough. Yeah. Should she start a class for the women?
She did it. I don't know what more women need to see. And of course, women have made jokes dudes want the Jill Scott, but they gotta have a microphone, to work with two hands.
That conversation can go a lot of ways.
Right,
I would say this for ladies and fellas listening. Fellas, it ain't even about you when she on the mic. That's the best way to say it. So if she enjoy being on the mic and like what she's doing, you'll get that activity. If they just doing it to get through to the next phase of the activities in the moment, you just gonna get you some plain Jane.
You need to call a timeout and have a team huddle.
Yeah,
talk about it.
But I'm just saying, but it's because it's good guys out there that do everything, and they chick can't get on the mic like that. So, fellas, it ain't about you, man. If she's doing it like that, you need to motivate her. Right. You need to show her some videos. There's a lot of them out there, that shit. They call it Auntie something. The one with the
Angel or something like that.
Auntie Angel
with
the grapefruit.
Yeah.
She got some good videos, fellas. You buy, get some stuff so your woman can practice. I'm just being real. It's ways. Talk her through it, and you can make it happen. All right, let's get off of Jill Scott. I want to talk some more about it, but Eugene don't want to talk about it. So, oh yeah, man, I did 2 marriage shows since you've been gone. What's up? What you think about marriage?
Well, I think it got to be a clear understanding of what marriage and a relationship is. Pretty much everything I heard talked about on this podcast, and just in general when people talk about marriage, is dealing with a relationship, love, trust, all of that, all those characteristics. None of that is needed for marriage. Marriage is a legal certificate tying two people together financially, with the state being the the mediator in case of a divorce. That's all marriage is.
So you don't believe in marriage then?
Huh?
That's what you're saying?
If you want to tie yourself to somebody financially or legally, then get married. But don't. But of course, in society, marriage has a more emotional connection to it, or it's like a symbol of how strong your relationship is. But we all know that's not the case because plenty of people that get divorced, and when you get divorced, they don't ask you how much love, trust, and all that other shit you got to divide between the two. They say what assets you got, what debts you got. In some states you can't even get divorced if you have a certain amount of debt. So that's a financial. Marriage is a financial legal institution. That certificate is a financial legal thing.
So what about are you advertising prenups if you get married?
Would I do a prenup?
Yeah.
No, because I wouldn't do a prenup because I have that much faith in my woman, and plus I don't really have much to. If I had millions, it'd be a different story. You know what I'm saying? For people that got serious tangibles like that, you want to protect your assets because that's what marriage is. Because outside of a financial thing or a legal aspect of it, there's really no logical reason to get married. Because you can have a solid relationship. If we make a joke in the black community how people go together for 20-something years, and I heard one comedian was like, well, the kids in college now, so I think I'm going to go ahead and do this. Like, you know what I'm saying? They go together. It's just, or be in a relationship and everything is cool. Marriage is, again, it's that certificate legally binding you to each other.
Well, that's if you look at it that way.
That's what marriage is.
No, that's if you look at it that way.
Yeah, of course. It's
marriage is, if you look at it, there's a lot of stuff.
What constitutes marriage? A marriage certificate?
No.
Okay.
It's all you and your spouse determine what the marriage is. The paperwork is just the legal stuff.
So people can get married without the paperwork?
No. Yeah, basically they could.
And who acknowledges that as a marriage?
Them, the couple.
Okay.
That's why you have common law marriage. Common law marriage don't have any paperwork to it.
But that's still after a certain amount of time, people are still responsible for each other legally at that point.
Not necessarily.
Which I don't have common law no more. But when the state recognizes you as a union,
it don't mean that you're married because just the state recognizes it. Like that's put like this.
So what's the point of? So what is marriage?
Marriage is not about finances.
What is it about?
It's about love.
What is a relationship is about?
A relationship is about love.
So what's the difference between a relationship and marriage?
Marriage is basically saying, me and you are one.
Can you do that in a relationship?
No.
Why not?
You can say it.
Okay, you can say it in marriage.
So it would still be a marriage though.
So what's the difference between relationship and marriage?
What I just said. Like marriage is basically, you're saying
that
you're
married. One.
There's an actual statement of we are married.
You can say that in a relationship.
That we're in a relationship?
Right. Well,
yeah.
People can be in a relationship, buy a home together, live together, have children together, have medical insurance together, do everything as a couple, as one.
No, you actually can't buy a home together.
You can't?
If you're not married, if I'm not mistaken. You can't be like jointly on there. It has to be more of a co-signing situation. I think that I may be wrong on that. But I want to say, if you're not married, you can't. Maybe you can put them on a deed, but you can't get a mortgage together.
That's incorrect.
Somebody could fact check me.
No, because when I got my house, they said the only reason I couldn't have my lady on it is because we wasn't married, and I was using my VA home loan. If I wasn't using the VA home loan, I could have put her on, and she's still, the same. Her credit had to be a certain level and all that, but you can check it. But even if you can't, let's say you can't buy a house together, somebody can still buy a house. And you can still live in there, raise your children, love each other, take vacations, and all of that. So outside of the legal aspect of filing some paperwork with the court and getting a marriage certificate, what's the difference? Because like you said, saying that we're one, you could do that in a relationship. So what is a marriage outside of a relationship? What is it that you can do in marriage that you can't do in a relationship?
Oh, you can do anything. Marriage is an announcement it's a covenant, basically. You're going into a covenant relationship with each other.
But what's a covenant? Agreement?
You don't know what a covenant is?
An agreement, right?
Huh?
A covenant is an agreement, right?
Yeah.
So once a relationship, you make an agreement that we are together as one, that's a marriage.
It basically
so what's the definition of marriage?
I didn't Google that.
Let's look that up.
So marriage is, I'll say this, marriage is not about finances. Finances come into play if you get a divorce.
When I say
so, if you saying marriage is only a piece of paper from the state that ties your finances together, what a state is
marriage, a legally or formally recognized union of two people as partners in a personal relationship. Historically, in some jurisdictions, a union between a man and a woman. Synonyms of wedding, marriage, yeah. So basically, illegally or formally recognizing a union.
That is.
Formally.
You don't have to. I'm going to say this. You can go to the state and do the marriage certificate if you want to. You don't have to do it. You can have a spiritual wedding. Where you're basically you're announcing.
So what does formally recognizing mean? Who formally recognizes it?
You can formally recognize it. You formally recognize anything you say on Facebook, you're formally doing that.
Now, do you think a woman will accept marriage without a marriage certificate from the state?
Yes. You don't think a woman would?
I think there are some women that might.
Man, no, listen.
I think
in this generation, nobody even care about a marriage certificate. Get a ring. That's it. You see a lot of guys, they just get an engagement ring and prolong the situation with a female. I get you the ring to make you happy. That's it. So if you even go you don't even have to I'm gonna just say, back in the day they say rings is just a Western thing to recognize you being married. Do you have to have a ring to get married? No. Do you need to have some documents to say I'm married to a person?
We're talking about in this country, to be legally recognized as a married couple, you have to have a marriage license.
So everything you do is legally?
You can be, yes. The definition of marriage is a legally binding agreement within people in a relationship that they are.
So I'm going to just say.
You can't, if you have an agreement with you and your a covenant with just you and your woman, y'all ain't gonna file nothing.
You don't have to.
Nothing like that.
You don't have to.
If anything arises with that man, and you don't have any power of attorney, you can't make no legal decisions for him.
All right. See, you went into a hypothetical situation.
Yeah, all of this is hypothetical.
But no, so if
because I'm gonna say this, with marriage.
You stated that if something arrives, you don't have any a power of attorney, you can't do nothing.
Right.
So I would just say this: if your marriage is legally recognized with the state, you would. It's not about we're talking that we don't have that. So if you actually want to protect your spouse in that situation, if y'all say, "Hey, we ain't going to the state to get married. We married. I got you a ring. We announced it to our friends and our family. That is formally announcing it to everybody." So at that point, if you got life insurance policy, you put your spouse as the beneficiary. Hey, make a will. You leave your wife as power of attorney.
Okay.
So
and that's still what? Something
that's
legally.
not. That's not saying you're married. That's not a legal document saying you're married.
No way. I'm talking about if they give you some of the rights that a marriage certificate would give, you still have to do something legally.
Now you're switching it though.
You're switching it.
No, you switching it because you're making you gotta have. You said you gotta have the papers to be married.
Listen.
You don't have to have a power of attorney. You don't get power of power of attorney when you get married.
Now you sitting here because you don't need to, because the state
you don't have that.
the
Listen,
union.
I can easily, if I get married,
the government
legally
recognizes the union. If the government doesn't recognize you, whatever it is that you do, then you have basically they still have it has no validity in their eyes.
Buddy, I can get married today, go to the state, and I can still leave my mom power of attorney.
Mm-hmm. Right. You have to file something extra legally.
But it don't.
But if you don't,
it don't matter about marriage certificate.
Don't gloss over it.
I'm not glossing over it.
If you don't give your mother power of attorney, then who ordered, without you having to do anything with power of attorney, your wife who you're married to has that right by law. Correct?
Listen, but we're not speaking, when we talked about marriage, we was not talking about the rights of a spouse.
No, y'all was talking about elements of a relationship.
No, I'm talking about
which is different from marriage.
Me and you are talking.
Okay.
Now we're not talking about a previous podcast.
Then you still switching the or kind of playing with.
I'm not playing with
the
it.
word.
You saying your wording is
now you saying
a marriage is a financial document that the state ties two individuals together, and the state is the mediator if something goes bad. That was your definition when you first started.
That's not what I said.
What was you saying?
I said a marriage is a legally binding certificate that binds two people together legally and financially.
Is that what I just said?
No, it's not what you
just
said.
Yes, I just said
you
that.
You said marriage is a financial document.
That's what you basically told us. You said marriage is only financial.
And see, when you put basically, when you go to a court and file the document, that's what it's about. When you talk about love, compassion, and all that other stuff, all of that stuff you can have in a relationship. You don't need to get married. But per your definition of marriage is just two people saying, hey, we married and we're going to be together, without people saying we married and we're going to be together, because basically nothing changes outside of that word, which I think is ridiculous. Because everything you said can go on in a relationship.
All right. So a marriage is announcing we're married. That's it.
A marriage is, and again, I just read you the definition. Marriage is announcing it legally. It says legally in the definition.
And like I said, you do not have to be legally married. You
don't have to
listen,
do nothing.
No marriage is determined by definition. If you want to get a certificate, you get a certificate. Is there anywhere where they say, what's the legal reason of getting a ring? Why do people get rings?
This is a symbolic thing.
Okay. There it is.
This is symbolized marriage.
So marriage is symbolic, right?
Again.
Marriage is symbolic?
Huh?
Is marriage symbolic?
People have made it symbolic, just like people have made a ring symbolic, like you said.
So, so I can go get married and we don't have rings?
Yeah. But the state still recognizes you as a union. So you and your spouse have that law, by law, you have certain rights to each other and make certain decisions.
So you can't get married without going to the state saying you're a union.
Not legally, no. You can say whatever you want between two people. You can say whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
But even after you say we're married, you continue on with the same relationship you've been having. Nothing changes. There's no legal obligation between the two unless you're somewhere where they got common law marriage. But outside of that, nothing changes because you don't need, per a legal marriage has nothing to do with love, has nothing to do with compassion, has nothing to do with trust, loyalty, none of that. Those are characteristics of a healthy relationship.
But how do you get people like this? You telling me people just say, hey, I meet you today, hey, let's go to the courthouse and get married. We don't gotta love each other.
No, the relationship comes. Again, the marriage.
I'm just saying, marriage, you have to have that in order to have marriage.
In society, marriage becomes the symbol of complete, or like a relationship reaching its heights. That's what marriage is the symbol. Marriage is a symbol that, hey, we are all the way to where we all in this together, right? Which I don't think.
No, not necessarily.
From my understanding.
There it is. Everybody has a different understanding of marriage.
My understanding from when I see people who have gotten married and people you love them and all that other stuff. And there's certain women that won't stay with you past a certain time without wanting a ring and wanting to have that marriage certificate.
So you telling me women
Women
you
ain't
telling
gonna take
me
no
women
engagement.
are telling men, hey, I don't get that marriage certificate, I'm out the door.
Yeah, I had women that said that.
That say if I don't get the marriage certificate, I have never heard a woman in my life say I cannot get a marriage. If I don't get this marriage certificate, I'm leaving you.
They don't say marriage certificate. They say just marriage. If I don't get married,
they say if I don't get a ring.
And you can do a poll on your press on your podcast.
I ain't gonna do no poll.
If you ask a woman, will she accept an engagement without a ring? Because that's the symbol. Most women are not even going to accept an engagement without a ring.
I just said that to you, though. I said it to you. Huh? I already said that to you.
Okay, now let me finish. So, you saying so you agree with that?
Nobody, listen.
Women,
I'm telling you.
It's a yes or no.
No, wait. It ain't no yes or no.
It is.
I know it's not yes or no to you, right?
Said it.
I'm not yes or no.
You're trying to overtalk me.
So, I said to you straight up. You said it's a symbol. You don't have to have rings if you say you're married. Is a ring necessary to be married?
I asked you a question.
No.
I asked you a question.
I know you asked me a question, but I'm giving you my explanation as my answer. So from your viewpoint, you're saying.
Let me say.
Let me finish because you gave me the floor.
You're trying to tell me what my
viewpoint is. You gave me the floor, though.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you
I
did.
asked you a question and you trying to turn around on the question on me.
You gave me the floor to talk.
What I'm saying is, women won't accept an engagement without a ring because a ring is that symbol. So, women will not accept you saying we're married without that marriage certificate because that's the symbol for the marriage.
But I'm just saying, in my whole life, I have never heard a woman say to a man, if I don't get a marriage certificate, I'm out the door.
Have you heard a woman say, if I don't get married in such and such, I ain't going to be with somebody such and such amount of years without being married to them? Because
I have heard that.
And when they mean that, they mean
no, they don't. You can't give your assumption on what they mean.
Come on, bro.
Because you have heard a woman say, if I don't have a ring by such and such date, I'm out. You have heard a woman say that. You have never heard a woman say, if I don't have a marriage certificate by such and such date, I'm out.
They say if I don't get married, which is the same thing.
No, it's not the same thing,
You're the only person I've ever heard categorize a marriage as two people saying, hey, we're going to be one, so we married now. We ain't got to do nothing.
Well, you don't understand that because saying you're a covenant as a union, as one, you don't believe in that. So, of course, you don't hear it.
No,
you don't believe.
If
you are a religious or a person of any spiritual belief, they tell you is what your doctrine that you're going to learn is if I'm married, we're one. We become one union.
So you have to be religious.
So no, you don't have to be religious. What I'm saying is the way you're thinking from a non-religious standpoint or a non-faith-based standpoint.
Okay.
You look at marriage as a piece of a paper that joins me and my wife as
so what is
through the same way.
Nope.
You say marriage is a document that is a financial document that ties two people together where the state is the mediator if something goes wrong. Yeah. That's your viewpoint of it because you don't have a faith-based viewpoint on marriage. Marriage is not about a financial document of something goes wrong. One means if you get married, you and your wife become one.
Now, just for clarification, when you say when you get married, you mean when two people make an agreement together.
Right. Why would one person get married to themselves, man? It's your floor now.
You saying without the state, without going to file anything with the state, just two people saying, "Hey, we married," and maybe have a ceremony.
They can have a ceremony, and they can still be married.
And they're married between the two.
Correct.
Okay.
You don't have to I'm gonna just say this.
But I'm saying
you're making it like in order for me to do anything with marriage, I have to go to the state to say.
I'm trying to get clarification, and you just going back telling me what my point is.
I answered your question.
What does being one mean?
Being one is basically me and you are not operating as individuals anymore. We're operating as one person. Your money is my money, vice versa.
Now, can two people do that without being married?
They could.
So there's no difference. So outside of the verbal communication, there's no difference in being married per your definition and just a relationship.
If you put like this, if you're married and you don't want to go through the state, more than likely you're still gonna have a ceremony with your family and your friends to announce that you're married.
But I'm saying, what if people ain't? What if that conversation never took place and people they
wouldn't be married, buddy.
But they're in a relationship.
Listen, if the conversation don't take place, how can you be married?
Right.
You gotta have a conversation.
So marriage is a conversation.
Nope, I'm not saying marriage is a conversation. You trying to pick it apart based on words. If a woman, you and your woman don't say to each other, hey, we want to get married, or we need to do something to announce that we're married to everybody. You don't have to go to the state. I'm just being real. You have individuals, like let's just say, you have the people like the straw man theory, and you have the people who are. You don't know what the straw man theory is? You've told me about it.
The straw man with marriage?
No, I'm not talking about marriage, man. I'm just talking. The straw man theory is basically people saying they're not citizens of America.
Oh, okay.
They don't gotta file taxes. You have people who believe that.
Right.
So they're living off a theory of, hey, you have people like that that say, I don't gotta file taxes. Do you supposed to file taxes every year from the money you make? Yes. That's the legal thing to do, right? Is it forced on you to file those taxes? No, it's not forced on you. So the same way with marriage. Marriage is not forced for you to go through the state to say that we're married.
But the state has to recognize.
So no, the state do not have to recognize you being married. It don't. You don't have to go to the state to say you're married.
Right, to say you're married. But to get the legal...
Now you make... All right, let's go into that.
Or let's just
now you're making it another scenario to try to build on the first. Now you're saying, well, in order to say we're married, to get these rights as a spouse, we got to have this paperwork from the state. Again, you don't.
But like you said, you have to have a power of attorney.
You have a power of attorney.
That's still something legal. That's still a legal document that you got to file.
What do you consider a legal document?
Anything you have to file. Anything you have to go through a lawyer for. You don't have to file a power of attorney. You got to go through a lawyer to draft it up.
No, you don't. You can have two witnesses outside of your spouse.
And it has to be notarized, right? By somebody that was...
You can have...
By somebody that got commissioned by the state, right?
Because you can easily
Come on, bro. I had to get a power of attorney when I was in the military, bro. You at least gotta get somebody notarized.
Listen, you can. But you can do a video.
Okay.
To say who you want power of attorney, right? That's your last words, huh?
Okay. Well.
Yes or no? That don't have to go through any attorney. I'm just being real. You making it like, oh, you got to do all these legal things to back up this to get this power or this authority as a spouse. No, you don't. You can simply do a video.
And obviously,
listen, you can do a video.
People would have marriage certificates if their definition of marriage is what yours is. There's a lot of Christians who have marriage certificates.
Everybody has. You know why they have a marriage certificate?
Why?
Because that's what was told to do.
Right.
Do you have to have a marriage certificate?
But that's,
no.
You said this is, so what's wrong with it? Because that's what they were told.
It's nothing wrong with it. I'm not against the marriage certificate. Right. You the one saying you define put like this. You're defining marriage as a legal document that holds you financially to somebody, and the state makes a decision. Yeah. That's how you view marriage. Nobody has. I don't have to agree with you the way you view marriage.
I'm not saying you. I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just telling you my perspective.
What right? And I'm so you can say your perspective, but I can't disagree with it.
Yeah, you can. But what I'm just saying, because you're one of the most logical people I know, the most logical person I know. But for your definition to be essentially the same as a relationship outside of a conversation saying, hey, we're married, that's just ridiculous.
A relationship is a conversation.
No.
Yes, it is.
You don't have to be. You don't have to.
Well, how can you say you're in a relationship if you never have the conversation that we're in a relationship?
Huh?
You have to speak it. See? It's the same way with
I've been
marriage.
in relationships that ain't never get spoke. It just happened.
It had to be spoken.
I'm telling you.
You're saying you're not in a relationship if you didn't speak on it.
I guess technically, yeah.
So, like the same way, you could go to work at a job every day, right? Mm-hmm. But if you and the employer have not had the conversation of hiring you and what your pay is, you just done volunteering your time. You don't got a job. You got to have a conversation to have that job. And it goes the same way with a marriage. You got to have the conversation to have a marriage.
To say.
You can't just be like, oh yeah, we married.
So 2 people can.
One person just believing they married and the other person don't know nothing about it.
So 2 people can be one without verbally. If I say, hey, we just in a relationship, but we basically are being one per your definition, sharing money or like everything is we're moving as one.
It's still a conversation to become one.
Right.
Man.
Okay.
So a covenant is an agreement.
So when you have
right?
a covenant,
You already know that.
Yeah.
It's an agreement.
Right.
So you can't act like in a relationship, oh, we operate that we're doing stuff together as one, but if you don't make the covenant decision to do that, you're not in the covenant. You're not. You gotta have the conversation. You gotta have a conversation to be
that's what I'm
in
saying.
a relationship,
that's what I'm saying.
to be married.
That's what I'm saying. So
anything you do in life, you gotta have a conversation if it's involving somebody else.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. In a relationship, let's say my definition of a relationship, is basically everything that you say is the definition for a marriage as far as being one.
But if you never make the covenant, guy, you're not married.
The covenant is agreement.
Yes, that's what a covenant is.
Right, but that's what I just said. So what if our covenant is that we're in a relationship?
But that doesn't say you're married.
Right.
So you still gotta say, hey, we're in a covenant to be married. You gotta say some kind of vows to each other to say you want to be married. If you never say that, you're not married.
Right.
So, and again, as I say, you do not have to have documentation to be married.
So marriage is an agreement between 2 people verbally that you're married.
There it is. You can do that. You know, you don't have to follow the law. Just saying. You don't.
You just say people have to pay taxes every year, but you don't have to follow the law.
Listen, like I said, it's your decision.
Actually,
man.
You do.
It's your decision.
You never follow the law.
You do.
Yeah, you choose.
Listen, it's your decision.
Like I said before,
it's not.
Like I said before.
Listen, I'm gonna just say this.
Do you like to play?
Unless you play, like, pick a crime.
Robbery.
Just pick a crime.
Robbery.
If I do the robbery correct, will they come and get me?
Possibly.
If I do the robbery correct.
It depends on your definition of correct.
If I do the robbery in the manner of protecting myself completely, concealing my identity, not leaving no evidence behind, I didn't put myself in a vulnerable situation to get caught.
Right.
Will they come and get me?
No.
All right. So I broke the law. I didn't follow the law. So I have to make the decision to follow the law, right?
I'm telling you, even a power of attorney is a legal document.
You don't have to have a power of attorney on paper, man. You can speak it. You can speak it and have it on a video and never go to a lawyer.
You can't, bro.
You don't think so?
It's even motherfuckers who have wills. Who
on
have wills
video.
drawn up.
And it's the lawyer never had.
That still gets voided for something else. For another document that was filed.
It depends on the date of it.
Again, it's a legality.
If I never put like this, if I never do a power of attorney on paper or do a will on paper, and I leave a video, what they're going by is that video.
Negative.
Yes, it will. I can leave a video and say whatever date it was, and say give my information to verify me. And say this is my last words, and or whatever they say, and I say, hey, I'm married, but my power of attorney is this person that is not my spouse. And if that comes up before any time, That person would be my power of attorney.
Negative.
You don't think so?
Well, I've had that get a power of attorney.
Because you went the legal way. Yes, you do have. If you're going to do a power of attorney on paper, you have to get it notarized.
There are, okay.
Nobody's disagreeing with that. I'm not disagreeing with the marriage certificate. I'm just letting you know that's not the only option to say I'm married or this person is my power of attorney. It's not. Like, you can do you can have those avenues. If you want to say, if we're going to,
you can't just make a video saying this person get this person can make that.
Yes, I can. So who makes the decision? Who makes the decision? You telling me?
You have to go through a lawyer. People that make the videos,
you don't have to give that to the lawyer until the time. The lawyer don't, like, you think when people have
when people die, the lawyer has that.
Who all has lawyers, man?
Huh?
Let's talk about regular people.
Right.
How many regular people you know with a lawyer?
How many regular people
ready
get power of attorneys?
He got, this lawyer right here got all my information.
Power of attorneys?
How many people does it?
How many regular people get power of attorneys?
A lot of them.
And for what purpose?
More medical than anything.
Right.
So.
And those people normally aren't in a relationship because most people get marriage certificates.
But you do not. Listen, I'm not arguing married with a marriage certificate. The white don't need it.
It's clear we have different definitions of marriage.
I'm not. Listen, I'm not saying if you get a marriage certificate, the power of attorney come with it. What I'm saying is, if you don't get married, go get a marriage certificate, you can have a power of attorney without putting a lawyer in the place.
You can still be married. And you can still
be married. Because marriage is your definition of marriage, man. It's not, society don't determine what marriage is to the couple. That's why they tell you every marriage is different. You and your spouse determine what your marriage is.
Can I determine how much tax I owe?
No, you can't.
How much I want to pay?
You could. You could. Definitely you could.
Oh, man.
You don't think you could? You don't think you could determine how much taxes you owe?
No. Not legally. Again, I would go with that legal thing. But all I'm saying, which I said in the beginning, most people's definition of marriage is basically a relationship, which you don't need. You don't
need a relationship to be married.
You don't need to have a covenant to be committed to somebody. You don't need to go down to a courthouse to be committed to somebody.
So how can you be committed without a covenant?
Huh?
How can you be committed without a covenant?
Action. That's the best way I can say it. Well, my woman.
So marriage.
My woman now, she don't have a ring.
Is action. That's all marriage is.
Yeah. I'm doing it now. We have a conversation like, oh, we married, but we still moving as one. I'm still committed to her.
Without the document.
We're not right. Without the document, we're not married.
So if something happened to you, what's gonna happen?
I'm screwed.
How are you screwed?
Well, you know what? I can make a video and be like, hey.
But I thought you just said videos don't matter. It don't hold any weight.
Hey, but you said it, so,
Nah, you can't go and say Sean said it.
Yeah, I'm like,
you gotta know for yourself.
Sean said, if I make this video saying she get this, she get that, then we good. So, nah. Now, precautions will be taken, but as a right.
What precautions?
Huh?
What precautions?
Me showing her how to run my truck and my business, so that if something do happen, and doing power of attorney, and putting her on, on my paperwork with my truck.
But if you don't want no legal documentation, why are you doing the power of attorney?
Huh? I didn't say I don't want legal documentation. I'm not saying
you don't want it for marriage.
I'm not saying I won't legally get married. What I said was, as long as you're okay with being tied to somebody legally, financially, then you can, get a marriage.
So you don't want to be tied legally?
I'm cool with it.
You don't, or you
I do. We will eventually get married. She don't want a wedding, but we will eventually get married. And I will have a certificate, because I'm cool with that. But I understand that with or without that paperwork, that doesn't determine our relationship, how much love and loyalty and respect and all that.
Whoever said the paperwork determines that?
Huh?
Who said the paperwork determines that?
There are, and I've run across plenty of women, again, who see that certificate, being married, as the epitome of what is like the ultimate level of a relationship. Even with my lady, you know, at one point, you know, she wanted the dress and the wedding and all that, you know, and it just finally hit her. It was like, I mean, what is that really for? Like, we've been trained to just want the ceremony to make us feel good and want to show off for people and all of that. But at the end of the day, none of that determines anything about the relationship or about marriage.
So why get married then? If none of that determines, if society determines all of that.
Again, to be legally binded together.
So that's all you see marriage as, legally binded together.
Yeah. Well, because I see marriage as being recognized by the government as a married entity, having legal rights to each other.
Well, why don't y'all just file taxes together?
Huh?
Skip the state.
Say it again?
Why don't y'all just file taxes together, joint tax return? Skip the state.
You do that too.
And that way you be legally binded together.
Yeah, we can do that. I didn't know that. I don't know about taxes like that. So, I mean, we can do that. But I mean, we doing it, you know, now, as far as being committed to each other. No covenant, no marriage license.
So at the end of the day, marriage is still about love and trust.
No, that's relationship.
Marriage too.
Because there's people that...
How can you get to marriage if you don't love and trust them?
Per your definition.
No, question. How can you not get to marriage if you don't love and trust somebody?
When I was in the military, there were people who legally got married for medical benefits, to get more money, what they call BAH, to get money for your dependents. Mm-hmm. So it's people that get married just for the legal benefits that
illegally
in certain situations. That's not illegal.
It is illegal. They get married.
To go there
I won't say. Let me not use the word illegal.
Okay.
Morally incorrect.
Yeah, morally right. But when you deal with legality, it's little to do with morals. They don't ask you how much you love each other when you go get, file that marriage certificate.
Correct.
They don't care.
So basically, they're just doing it it is illegal. Mm-hmm. They're abusing the government's benefits. Yeah. So, hey, we ain't living together, because they can do that. Mm-hmm. They do it for illegal aliens. Right. When somebody married somebody for a green card. Right. Oh, they come in, they check, and see. So if they was to do that in that situation, hey, what would happen? It would be a legal, law-breaking situation, and they would charge them with a crime. Right. So at the end of the day, it is illegal.
But there's a lot of people. First, they got to prove it. I've seen a lot of couples that did it for the reason I said, but they live together, and it's still just
a lot of green card people live together.
I'm not talking about green card people. I'm talking about military.
I'm just saying it's the same situation.
Right. So how can you?
It's just a benefit.
So how can you prove them doing that if they're living together? Because they don't engage how much you love each other. Now I can see.
No, it's not about. They don't come in on the government side to see how much you love each other. They come in to make sure these stories are correct. Mm-hmm. They put investigators on you like, oh, so he actually don't come home, and he go to his other house.
Right. In that instance with the immigration.
It would be the same. They could do the same with the military benefits. They could. If it became
if it's a person
a situation, if it became a situation where what you just said,
there's plenty of people to do it.
Listen, if it became a situation where they realize, oh, these people are getting over on us.
How would they realize that?
Plenty of ways.
It
could be
if the couple
basically what you just said.
Living in the same house.
Listen, what you just told me. The right person hear it. Be like, oh, that's what they're doing.
But that ain't nothing people openly talk about.
Listen, listen to what I'm saying.
Right.
Do people openly talk about getting a green card for somebody?
Okay, the right person hear it, but again, you still have to prove it.
Correct. And guess what they do with the green card people? Right. They go out to try to prove it.
Yeah,
they got investigators
but
that they pay
But I'm saying, it's harder, to ask questions and see if they know what they know about each other and all that.
They do it with the green card people.
This is what I'm talking about.
Same process with the green card people. They could put that process with the veteran people. Yes or no?
They could, but it'd be a lot harder.
Why?
If two people have known each other since they were kids and decided, oh yeah, you need help, and we're gonna get married. So
well, is everybody in this situation have known each other since
most of the
kids?
time, yeah. Well, not since they were kids, but most of the time they were familiar with people. Whereas,
what if I known legal aliens since they was a kid?
Then you should know enough information to pass whatever little background they do. They ask you, I don't know, they ask you what their favorite color is or what they like to eat and stuff like that. You're able to answer those questions because that's why people still be, doing that and getting over here. If you understand each other and get to know somebody, then you can pass.
You could pass.
I've seen a lot when I was contracting in Kuwait, and guys were getting Ethiopian women and Filipino women over here.
So you don't think it could find fault in those situations?
It's possible, yeah. But I'm just saying.
What?
That people can still get married and not love each other. That's all I'm saying. People can still get married legally.
Yeah.
People still get married legally without none of the other aspects of a relationship. And some people do. Some people get married just because they got kids together and they feel like that's the right thing to do. But what I'm saying is, like I said, love, loyalty, respect, honesty, all of that stuff, all the characteristics of an ideal relationship, you don't need to legally get married.
You're right. You don't have to legally get married at all.
Right.
You don't have to be married. You don't have to be legally married at all.
Right.
You can just live your life without the documents and do a video to do power of attorney. And that way, whoever your spouse is, they can have that authority to make a decision if something happens to you before them. There it is. So why was that so hard?
I'm just again, I seriously, just from what I've seen from women, whether it be personally, talk shows, just in life in general, very few women will accept a covenant between you and them that they're married without a marriage certificate, a ring, and all the other stuff that society says a marriage is. I'm not saying no.
Listen, for the record,
there's no absolutes.
I have never heard a woman say, I need that marriage certificate.
Again.
I'm just saying.
Again, you're playing semantics.
I'm not playing semantics.
Well, of course, women don't say marriage certificate, but when they say marriage,
they're not talking about a marriage certificate, bud. They're talking about being just married.
That's what they mean. I'm telling you.
Let a woman go
to our homegirls and say, I got married, but we ain't got a marriage certificate. Well, you're not married then.
Yes, they are.
That's what they tell you.
A marriage
you're not married.
is about two people. That's it. The state come into play. Honestly, I get why the state do what they do, but that's only to make money. Generate money. At the end of the day, you can have that marriage certificate and you can go ask for a divorce and the state do not make a decision. If you and your spouse go in there and make a decision together, the state do not mediate. They just agree to what you agree to. That's it. It's the same way when you do a contract between you and a company. If you want to sue that company's going to have arbitrary opinion or hearings to come in if you and them can't make a decision. That's it. That's all the state does. They are the option if we can't make an agreement. It's the same way when you go to court for custody hearings and things of that nature. Is if you and the other person can go in there and say, hey, this is what we want. Your lawyers are then at that point,
Go in the court system.
Right, the court system is only for money. It's not about just because that paper, you don't follow. If you got court orders, you don't follow the court orders exactly to what they say.
Right.
And if you want to, you can go in. Basically, it's a way to be an arbitrary person for you. Yo, we can't agree, the state got to get involved because you have sovereignty in the state. You're a resident of that state. Each state has its own laws.
Right.
So because they have, like, yo, if you and someone, a spouse or a co-parent can't make a decision, we'll come in the middle for the welfare of this state to make that decision for you. And at that point, they make the decision based on what each person presents. At the end of the day, yeah, nobody cares about this. The state is not here to care about who loves who.
I mean, we agree on that.
You know, so at the end of the day, the state is here to make money off the citizens.
I said it's a legal thing. It's
No,
money.
listen.
It's a financially.
It's not about the money of the people getting married. The marriage is a marriage certificate free.
It's
that's what you said. That's what you implied.
It's legally
it's
legally binding two people together.
Financially together.
Right.
Right. So you implied that.
So financially,
my finances versus your finances.
They're responsible for whatever debt.
Correct. But what I'm not saying that.
Uh-huh.
I'm saying the state is only there to make money off of the certificates. When you go and
so you think they make more money off of certificates than divorce proceedings?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you go and fill out to what's the word they use? You go in. I can do an articles of incorporation for business. You gotta pay a fee, right? When you close that business down, what you gotta do? Pay another fee.
Right.
That's it. They're there to make money off of the certificates. That's it. That's all they're doing. They're making money off the situations. So if you, like, let's just say this for instance. If you and a female, let's say a custody issue, the state got a guideline of what they say, oh, you should get this. If you can't agree, you can do that. But you can go in and say, this is what I want.
Well, when it comes to child support, you can't.
Listen to me.
Go ahead.
If you and your co-parent go in there and say, hey, this is what I want, this is what we agreed to, they're going to honor that.
Not through the child
and
support.
They're going to honor that through child support.
No.
Yes, they will.
No.
You listen.
I'm telling you, me and my daughter's mother, we went down there with an agreement between the two of us. And you know what they told us? It don't work that way. We have our guidelines.
Y'all went to DHR or you went to a lawyer?
Huh?
You went to DHR or you went to a lawyer?
DHR. The child support.
Because guess what? They don't cover, DHR do not cover visitations. Mm-hmm. They only cover child support.
I'm the money.
I'm letting you know. You have to go through the lawyer to determine, like DHR only determines based on information. They're not here to coincide with you because you made an agreement together. You go to the lawyer. You and her go to one lawyer together and say, hey, this is what we want for visitations and this is what we want as the child support payment.
And you saying they'll say fuck their guidelines and go with the lawyer says.
Correct. And the reason I tell you that is I'm going to tell you a simple situation. Got a lawyer for child support when I got put on child support. She got a lawyer. After she got a lawyer, my lawyer, once her lawyer served me with papers, my lawyer went and filed papers as well to answer those, what was submitted to us. After that, she didn't want a lawyer anymore. She wanted to go to DHR. Court system said, oh, guess what? You already used a lawyer. The lawyer trumps the DHR situation. So you must use a lawyer. And at that point, if DHR doesn't have no visitation rights, they only offer monetary support, as in child support. So they can determine, they would have been able to determine what the child support was. If we would have went in there with an agreement and said, hey, this is what we're going to pay for child support, they would have honored that agreement. Because when I went in, I said, hey, this is what I want. These are the amount of days I want a year throughout the month. They gave me the days. Once they agreed to it, they gave it to me. It wasn't no battle on, oh, well, he shouldn't get that, or he shouldn't do this. Like, no, they gave me that. They already have a guideline of what they say, automatically you get this coming into the door. You have to have the ability to know what you're already getting to add in more. I added in more and got more. Then after her lawyer and my lawyer made that decision, then we went into the judge and said, well, we made the decision on the child support. It was basically like, well, you're supposed to pay this amount. You want to pay that? Oh, I'm cool with that amount.
Again, it still had to be recognized in court, right?
Listen, because we both had different lawyers, man.
It still had to be recognized in court.
Listen to me. And we went in, and the judge didn't say, well, I'm going to give him this, or I'm going to give him that. No, you all agreed to this? Cool. There y'all go. Be on your way. That's it. They came into play, like I said initially, because we could not agree prior. Mm-hmm. So we would agree prior, guess what? We didn't have to go to a court system.
You would have to have 2 lawyers, but not do anything legally.
No, you don't have to have 2 lawyers.
Okay,
why were you going to have 2 lawyers if you...
So what does a lawyer do if he ain't doing nothing legally?
Huh? The lawyer is basically, if you want it on paper.
Uh-huh.
We don't have... If we agree before a lawyer, we don't have to go to a lawyer.
Right.
The lawyer and the state is in place when you don't agree. Mm-hmm. So, like, if we don't have a common agreement, like, put like this, me and you today, we had a common agreement that you was coming to do a podcast with me. We didn't have to get nobody else involved.
Right.
All right. So we already knew what we wanted, and we agreed to that. Mm-hmm. We don't need no documentation to say that. Mm-hmm. But when it comes, that was just common information between us. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to, oh, you know what? Well, I don't agree with you, and it involves more than just you coming over. Mm-hmm. Like, say it involves a child. Because at that point, like, we know if we don't disagree and it's not on paper, if automatically the state gives women the physical custody or the custodial custody. Right. So if you don't have nothing on paper and you and her get into it and she bring the police over to your house, guess what a kid got to go with? The custodial parent, because you don't have no documentation. But if you have documentation to say, no, kid supposed to be over here, that custodial parent cannot come over and be like, oh, I want my kid today. You're going to pull your paperwork out, show that officer, and be like, nah, this kid supposed to be here. The officer is going to say, ma'am, you know, that kid supposed to be over here, like, what's going on? And at that point, if you want to be on her level, you can say, you know, hey, I want to get a trespassing charge on her, or a contempt of court, because she's going against paperwork.
So if y'all made an agreement together and y'all just wrote something out together and you showed it to that officer, would that be enough?
Would that be enough if I showed it to the officer?
Right. It's a piece of paper, a contract that you 2 sign to each other.
It could be. If it all depends. It all depends. If you went through the right steps to get that paperwork signed, it could mean something.
I say without any legal.
I'm just saying, but like, why would I be a dummy if I know
either way
not to do that? I would automatically, even if we had an agreement, I still would go through the court system.
For clarification, though, we kind of went off topic.
Ain't off topic because we never had a topic, silly boy. We never had a topic.
We talking about marriage.
We did not come in no agenda on this.
We're talking about marriage.
It's the same thing. Because you talked about legal documentation and having it.
Having a child is different than assets during a divorce.
The child is an asset in a divorce. Yeah. Since you want to be so Mr. Legal guy. No, the child is an asset.
I wouldn't say that.
Who's getting the child?
Right, but like you said.
Who's getting the car?
Who's
getting the house?
But like you said.
Those are assets.
But like you said, the state normally leans toward the woman as far as being a custodial parent or whatever. But the fact that you have a child together, you know that both parties contributed in some way to making this child. Whereas a business, rental property, other assets, it has to be more of an investigation and arbitration to figure out who gets what or who is responsible for what bill and shit like that.
No. It don't matter. Listen, other things come into play. You can have, like, hey, we get a divorce. If the mom, let's just say, if the woman is the one working, and the husband don't work, and it's been that way for years, who getting alimony? The mom or the dad? The dad. If the dad's been working all these years and the mom haven't,
you gotta go through court.
But I'm just saying.
Everything has to be legally recognized.
But based on what you're saying, you make it like automatically this person gets this or these assets.
No, I'm not saying that.
That's what you're implying.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that that's why the legal process is required for the state to help mediate that. Because people are going, especially divorcing, again, there's no absolutes, but for the most part, people divorce, they never agree on who should get what.
It could. You could agree.
It could, but I ain't really seen too many. I've maybe seen two instances where, the guy or the woman was...
Question. This is going to let me know if you know what you're doing. Or you just in here BSing me for conversation. In the state of Alabama, how long before you're married, before you have to split your property?
How long what?
How long of being married do you have to split your property if you get a divorce?
If you get a divorce, I don't know. I haven't gotten a divorce. I haven't gotten married.
Why are you talking about marriage then?
Huh?
Why do you want to talk about marriage? Because this is your conversation.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, you're saying all of this stuff. Like, let's say right now, you get married. You have your home. You go get legally married, and you get a divorce, and your spouse says, "Well, I want the house. Right. I want half of the house."
Right.
How long before she actually has right to that?
I don't know the particular on that, but the fact that you sitting here acknowledging that basically proves the only point I've been saying is that marriage through the state is a financially binding document.
But how long? You gotta know.
How I gotta know that? Most people, I'm pretty sure that most people don't even know that until they go through the process. That's a non sequitur.
No, it's not. Listen, you have to know those things.
Why?
If you're gonna consider marriage,
when I get married, I'm not married.
A financial document that binds two people together. You need to know what that document entails on your splitting your finances. So if that's the case, you shouldn't even get married if you don't understand it or don't know it.
I'm not married.
I know you're not married, but I'm just saying, you're in here...
Who's to say I wouldn't know that before I get married? Now you're assuming.
I'm not assuming.
You is.
I just asked you a question and you told me you didn't know it.
I didn't know it.
I'm not married.
I'm not married.
I'm not married and I know it.
But you're a tax guy.
No, that has nothing to do with taxes.
You're an asset guy. You're a money guy.
With taxes. It's just simple.
So who did you know that went through that?
knowledge.
That's not common knowledge.
Yes, it is.
Stop
man.
it. Stop it. That's not common knowledge.
Give me a guess. How long you think?
2 years?
No. It's a 10-year window, guy.
Right.
So if you was to get married today, and you already purchased your home, your wife has no legal obligation to that home when you divorce because of that situation. If she don't got 10 years in, the only thing she's going to be a part of is anything you all purchase after the marriage. Right. So after the marriage, if you brought it home, then yes, she's able to get 50% of that home, or argue for 50% of that.
So how long would we have to be married for her to get spousal support? Because let's say she's not working. So if I'm gonna take 10 years, I have to take care of her for 10 years before she even is allowed to get spousal support.
Before you have to split anything.
If I don't split, I'm supposed to pay spousal support. Because I've seen people who haven't been married 10 years where the man has to pay spousal support.
Well, buddy, if I'll just say this, man. Marriage, like I'm gonna tell you, marriage is more than just a document.
No, not the financial part, and what we're talking about right now has nothing to do with love, loyalty, trust, and everything else.
Marriage is more than a document, man.
So how long?
I just told you 10 years. Marriage is longer than a document.
You don't know that.
Buddy, if, listen.
So it's a 10-year window for everything.
I'm going to just tell you this.
So
In this state of Alabama, it's a 10-year window.
For anything. For tax split, anything.
Listen. If you had it before you got married, right. Listen to me, because I said this already.
Talking about spousal support. Listen to me. Nothing to do with
Listen to me. Anything that you acquired before you got married, your spouse do not have access to it until after 10 years of marriage.
Okay.
All right?
You still didn't address what I just asked you. So what about spousal support?
10 years. If you already got it.
So you have to take care of somebody for 10 years before y'all get.
Why are you saying take care of somebody?
If you have if your spouse isn't working and you're the sole financial provider, and y'all divorced after 5 years, you aren't legally obligated to pay or take care of it at all, because y'all went together for 10 years.
I would assume if you have a smart lawyer, I'm just saying, man, because you make it a legal situation.
So you don't know the answer. You act like you know all the intricacies.
I'm not saying I know all the answers.
You did, because you pulled out how long you gotta wait to sell your property after you married.
I'm asking you a question because you are so. Listen, I'm gonna just say this. I didn't bring up the conversation of legal documents in this conversation. You brought this up. Right. So I asked you a question about legal documents.
Because it's more meat in it. Only thing you're saying about your definition of marriage is that it's a covenant between two people.
That's all marriage is. If you want to look at it as a legal document,
that's all a relationship is. So a marriage relationship
ain't no covenant, buddy.
It's a covenant between two people. Because you say either way, a conversation and agreement has to come. You can't be in a relationship if you don't have a conversation and agreement with somebody. Did you not say that? It has literally the same definition you gave for marriage. You say you have to have a conversation and a covenant between each other that this is what we're doing, whether it's relationship or marriage. So it's really the same thing.
Guess what, man?
What?
I do know everything. How long do you have to be married in Alabama to get alimony? The couple is required to have been married for 10 years for this to be applicable.
What's alimony? Alimony is spousal support the same thing? Because I've heard it used differently.
Yes. So, again, like I told you, 10 years.
Like you guessed.
It was no guess. I knew it already.
No, you didn't.
I did know it.
Okay.
So, what I'm saying, it helps also determines the beginning. Like, marriage is what you determine. So, if you looking at marriage as a document, I think you have the wrong mindset on what marriage is. Marriage can be more than a document. It should be more than a document to people. But if that's how you view it as a document, you got the wrong mindset on what marriage is. And
who are you to tell me I have the wrong mindset?
Listen, I'm not telling you. I'm talking in general. This is my opinion.
Okay, you say you.
And that's generally what I gotta say.
Right.
What other word would you like me to use?
People.
So
general terms, but it's all good.
If you, because we're speaking to the millions out there.
Right.
If you look at marriage as a document, your viewpoint on marriage is wrong. No, it ain't about.
I'm saying
my opinion is no value to anybody.
And I'm saying no, it's value to people. Now I'm saying if you view marriage, if you don't view marriage, if you view marriage as just an agreement between the two parties, then it's no different than anything. Because you have to have an agreement in a relationship.
You have an agreement, you don't have a covenant in a relationship. That's the difference.
So what's the difference between an agreement and a covenant? Because I thought a covenant was an agreement.
Right.
So you say you have an agreement, not a covenant.
You Google agreement, I Google covenant.
Okay.
Man, you don't have to be so difficult, buddy.
You being difficult, man.
You just don't have to be in. What's an agreement?
Harmony or accordance in opinion or feeling, a position or resulting of agreeing. A negotiated and typically legally binding arrangement between two parties as a course of action.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
An agreement. That's the definition.
So they both the same?
No, not necessarily. It's roughly the same, but a covenant is looked at in more high regard than an agreement.
Wow.
That's what I would tell you.
No, we look up definitions for a reason. What does the definition say?
I just told you what it said, man.
It said an agreement?
Yeah. Simple as that.
An agreement is a negotiated and typically legally binding arrangement between two parties as to a course of action.
So, at the end of the day, how do you view marriage?
At the end of the day, I view marriage as a legally binding recognition by the state between two parties. I think love, loyalty, respect, and all of that can be present in ideal and a stable relationship.
We didn't ask you for an explanation of what you think after the marriage definition. We just asked you what marriage is to you, man.
Yeah, marriage. No, because I feel like I need to clarify that, because there are people who, again, when they think marriage, they think of relationship, and I think those are two.
So what is marriage?
Because
end of the day, what is marriage to you? Like, without saying the definition
at the end of the day,
of marriage, what is marriage to Eugene Early?
You mean without saying the definition of relationship?
No, what is marriage to Eugene Early?
Marriage is a legally binding.
Without using the definition, what is marriage to you, man?
I don't understand the question. Without using.
In your own words, what is marriage?
Marriage is filing a certificate with the state to be legally binded to each other, to have an agreement, which is typically legal.
That's it.
Per the definition.
That is. Your viewpoint on marriage sucks, guy. Just being real. If you going into marriage just saying I'm married to you because of this paper.
No, I'm not. That's the only difference.
No, because you can't marry somebody to say I have a paper.
You can be married without love, respect, and loyalty in a relationship.
Why are you married then?
Why
are you married?
Again, there's all type of reasons people get married.
Why are you married without love, trust, and respect?
People can do that. But can a couple move as one without being married?
Yeah, they could.
So
they could.
Again, right.
But if you don't never say you're married, you're not married.
Okay, so there it is. To you, marriage is two people saying that they're married.
I'm gonna put it like this: marriage is not a piece of paper. Mm-hmm. In order for me to be married,
you've been real cliche.
No, it's not. Marriage is not a piece of paper. At the end of the day, marriage is not like
because the state,
is your mom.
And most people don't recognize.
Is your mom your mom just because your birth certificate says she's your mom?
That's the proof. Your mom can't go nowhere and get nothing done with you without legal documentation that she's your mother.
How not? I'm just saying, how not?
Come on, God. How do you know that she ain't steal you from somebody? You have to have legal documentation as proof in this society that you are who you say you are and you have the legal rights to what you're claiming. Now, again, two people can say that they're married, but...
So do you tell your mom, you only my mama because this paper say you my mama?
I don't say that.
I'm just asking.
I wouldn't say that in a marriage, but in a marriage it'll be understood.
That's what. No.
Again, I'm married.
So it's understood to your mom that she only your mom because of this paper say she's your mom?
It's understood that the government recognizes her as my mother because of the birth certificate.
No, buddy, I'm asking you.
And I'm telling you.
We're not talking about how the state.
I don't say none of that to my mother. Listen, so what are you saying?
We're not saying how the state view your relationship or your marriage or who your mother is. We're saying how you view it. You don't go to say your mom, hey, you my mom because of this paper. So you ain't gonna tell your wife you're my wife because of this paper. You're not.
It's not the same.
If your wife was to come to you and say, let's just say this, Eugene, today you're married. Mm-hmm. Your wife come and say, Eugene, Why am I your wife? What are you gonna say?
I'm gonna say that I love you, I respect you, and I feel, and I'm comfortable with being legally binded to you. That's what I would say.
You're not gonna say that as
I am.
Quote.
I am being talked. No, I'm serious.
You're not gonna say that.
I'm serious. For me.
You're not gonna say that.
Because again, I feel like a couple. And
so
I've
she's
seen,
only basically.
Let me finish. I've seen couples move as one, be together 15, 20, 30 years, raise kids, do everything that married people do, have all the love and shit there, but they didn't announce to people that they were married and none of that. And that still doesn't take away. That still doesn't take away from their union.
So again, you're gonna make your wife feel like basically I'm only here because of this paper.
No, I'm gonna make my wife know that I respected her and that we moved as one in a relationship. So it don't take marriage for her to feel a sense of security. She's gonna feel secure before marriage has to come into place.
So in that moment,
most women don't feel secure until that marriage.
I'm gonna give you another chance. So after your old lady hear this,
we gotta understand. She gets treated better than some married women get treated now, and we just in a relationship.
Listen, don't gloat. Let me hear the gloat, man. Your lady says to you after you're married, Eugene, why am I your wife?
I just told you.
What are you gonna say? I'm giving you another chance to get yourself together.
My same answer still stands.
I love and trust you.
I tell her about all the aspects of our relationship.
Because it's legal binding the contract.
I'll tell her that all the aspects of the relationship that we have that makes me comfortable with binding myself to her legally.
So she really just a piece of paper.
See, you're not even hearing what I'm saying.
I'm asking.
And I just told you.
Say it again for the people so we can get clarity.
I would tell my woman, I would describe all of the aspects of our relationship that make me comfortable enough to legally bind myself to her, to be responsible for her to be responsible to me, legally.
And like you told me earlier, you think a woman gonna accept that answer?
Huh?
You think a woman gonna accept that answer?
The woman that's for me will. Cause I know women that ain't going to accept just an agreement between the two if they ain't got that piece of paper that they can hang up.
So the paper holds more value than anything else.
So to a lot of women it does.
How many women?
To a lot of women, I don't know how.
Majority?
Women, but a lot of women.
Majority?
I would dare say majority.
I never heard a woman say.
I've never heard somebody say that. I never heard a woman say that she was married and she didn't go file for a marriage certificate at the courthouse.
I have heard people.
I haven't heard of it.
But I never heard a woman say.
There are no absolutes.
Listen, I never heard a woman say, if I don't have this marriage certificate by this date, I'm out. I've heard her say, if I don't have this marriage certificate, if I don't have this ring by this date, I'm out of here. I'm just saying. So, like, you don't have to have, you don't have to have no legal documentation to say you're married.
You're playing word games.
I ain't playing word games.
You
played word games in the beginning.
You keep throwing a certificate in there.
That's what you told me. You used the word.
No.
Woman said, if I don't have this certificate.
If I don't have, a woman said, if I ain't married by such time, I'm bouncing.
So who determines?
And again,
to that woman,
and I would ask a lot of women to comment on this video.
I'm happy you're gonna share it.
If a man engaged, it was engaged to you without a ring, would you accept it? And if a man wanted to be married, but that marriage was basically, let's say, I'll give it to you, a ceremony, and y'all telling people that y'all married, but y'all didn't actually go and file nothing at the courthouse to have a marriage certificate. Is that acceptable to you?
Yeah, it would be.
And make sure you put the clip up on Instagram.
So did she get a ring? Did she get a ring?
You can get a ring and a whole nine. The only difference is there's no marriage certificate. Are you okay with that marriage?
Yeah, and you know why? I'm gonna just say this.
I ain't asking you to answer. It's for the women.
It's poor couples, that just go get a certificate and don't have a ring. So it's all about where you stand in life.
Well, we're gonna hear from the women and see.
How you gonna? And I will be there to make sure you word this properly. Cause I already know you.
Hey man, the truth is the truth. There's only one way, man. I ain't about to word it no way.
So you ain't putting it up.
I'm gonna put it up, but I'm gonna put it up how I'm saying it. Or matter of fact, I could put up something vague and say, well, what do you see marriage as? Is it just an agreement, or is it actually getting a marriage certificate?
That is.
We're gonna see. Probably late tonight. We're gonna get a couple hits tonight.
That is. Well, anything you want to tell these people?
Have your definition. I want y'all to think real hard on what you see the difference between a marriage and a relationship. Don't let society tell you that the ultimate stage of your relationship stops at a marriage, or marriage dictates how healthy your relationship is, because you can have a long-lasting relationship without being married legally.
So society don't have to go by society views and go get a marriage certificate based on what you just said.
Again, I'm not condoning or denouncing marriage certificates. I'm just saying what the function of a marriage certificate is.
All right.
Outside of that, I feel like people can have a healthy relationship and still build a family and everything else.
Well, I can't wait to get the feedback from this conversation. I guarantee you, I know it's gonna be funny. And if you text me the information, I'm gonna screenshot it and send it to his butt, because I know y'all finna rip him a new hole.
Hey.
And
if there's women out there that will take a marriage without a marriage certificate, yeah, I'd like to hear that perspective.
Right, because there's such things called spiritual weddings. So you have a spiritual ceremony, you don't have a certificate with it.
Okay.
You know.
That's what's up.
So it all depends on you. You determine what your marriage is, how it's defined, and what it's about. Nobody, no outside sources does that for you.
Same as a relationship.
That is, right. So you determine.
And just to be clear on your definition, the definition between a relationship and marriage is just that conversation.
Right, a marriage is the difference of anything is a conversation. Okay. The difference in me and a female just sleeping around and saying and going into a relationship is us saying we're in a relationship. Mm-hmm. The difference from a relationship and a marriage is us saying we're married. Right. And that could be via certificate, that could be via no certificate, and being formal and just inviting friends and family to a ceremony to announce that we're married. Okay. You don't have to have no certificate.
So basically showing off to other people still.
No, you don't. Like, a ceremony don't mean you're showing off.
What does it mean?
A ceremony is a formal occasion to announce that you're married. That's what a wedding is. A wedding don't have to be flamboyant.
So I'm not saying
wait. I can have a meeting at my house and have a ceremony. That is not showing off. You don't have to go spend money to announce.
You just flip-flopping.
I didn't flip-flop.
Well, 1 minute it seemed like you were saying a marriage is something that's intimate between two people, and then the next one.
I never used the word intimate between two people.
Well, you said a covenant between two people, right? You see,
that's the same
thing.
I
had a conversation. I would think a conversation.
You can announce the covenant.
I would think a marriage conversation will be between two people and not the whole family, correct?
Listen, your family don't make the decision.
Right.
The family, listen. The two people make the decision. Right. In order to get to the marriage, the two people have to make the decision. Right. Then to formally announce it, you have to announce it to somebody. You can't just announce it between yourself and nobody else never know. So you have to formally announce it. And that's more than likely, I'm assuming, if you're going to announce that you're married, it's going to be with family and friends.
So can two people be one in a relationship and not a marriage?
Two people, they can act like they're one.
but they aren't truly one until they say we're married.
Right, until they officially say they're married, man. You can't be one, like, that's the reason you're looking at me and again, I will say this, you're not a believer. So, your understanding of covenant is just a simple agreement. Covenant is more than just a simple agreement, man.
Well, you just had us look up the definition.
Yeah, I'm letting you know.
You had to look at the definition.
I said it to you.
And then you disregarded the definition.
I said it to you
look
straight. A covenant and agreement is in higher regard than a standard agreement. That's it. So by you not.
That's what the definition said?
No, I'm letting you know.
Oh, it's your definition.
I'm letting you know.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, you're not a believer, so you don't understand it. That's why your opinion of what a marriage is about
so
a
marriage
document.
is a religious thing.
It's not a religious thing.
You just said I'm not a believer. A believer in what?
Because you don't believe in covenant, man.
A covenant is a religious thing.
No, you don't listen. You don't believe in covenant. End of the story.
I believe in agreements. You said a covenant is an agreement.
Listen to you. I'm letting you know straight up. A covenant is in higher regard than an agreement.
Why?
Because it is.
And that's a religious belief.
No, it don't have to be a religious belief.
So what is it that I don't believe in? Because I believe in agreements.
You believe in that marriage is just a piece of paper.
No, I believe in agreements.
Right.
You said I don't agree. You said I don't agree.
You just
believe in
an agreement. Like I told you, you can have a spiritual wedding and not be confined to some paperwork.
Right. But you said,
and as much as I know you, I don't understand how you are so strong gung-ho on being confined to a piece of paper.
I'm not gung-ho on being confined to a piece of paper.
Your whole argument has been defined on a piece of paper.
That's what my definition of marriage is. But again, I don't see marriage as the ultimate level of a relationship.
What is the ultimate level of a relationship then?
When you have trust, loyalty, honesty, compassion, and everything else between the two, and y'all are moving toward a common goal. Mm-hmm. Whether it be to have kids, a house, a business. When you're moving as one, because I don't think there has to be a we're one conversation per se, or we're married conversation, or a marriage certificate to define that. I've seen people move as one.
All right.
And be committed to each other without
a
covenant formally coming out to people saying we're married or we're.
I'm gonna end the podcast on the definition of marriage. Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay.
I don't want no argument.
I ain't gonna say nothing. Go ahead.
And you ready? And it's gonna prove either way. Marriage, the legally or formally recognized union of two people as partners in a personal relationship, and then they tell you, historically, it's between the union between a man and a woman. That's it. So, what that said was, you can do it legally, or you can just do it formally.
So we both right.
So that is, and hopefully this will be episode 7. Enjoy, people.